Hey kids, today is the big day. We are going to start typing today. So I kind of want to just review with you some of the formatting things that you're going to need to remember. So follow me step by step as we go through a sample paper. First, what you're going to want to do is you are going to want to create a title. And our title is going to be at the very top of our paper. So you're going to want to first go up here and we're going to make our title 18-point font. And we're going to change our font to Times New Roman, which is going to be down here towards the bottom. It just makes it easier for your teachers to read, your classmates to read, and we want to make sure that it's not, some fancy print that we can't read or makes it hard for your reader. So we are then going to come up here, right here to the centering button. We're going to center your title. You want to come up with an interesting title. Title should be no more than 3 or 4 words at a time, or more than 3 or 4 words, period. And you want to make it interesting and kind of eye-popping. So for now, I'm just going to write my title. You all remember that I'm doing my paper on Pompeii. So I'm just going to title it now, Pompeii. I might come back later when I have a little bit more time and put some more thought into it. Then I'm going to hit the enter button to go to the next line down, and I'm going to change my font size to 14. This is what I'm going to do the rest of my paper in. We want our title to be a little bit bigger, so that's the first thing that our reader sees. It's just our topic and they know what they're going to be reading about. Next, we're going to put by, and then we're going to press the shift button and the colon and give that a space right there, and you're going to write your name. Next, we're going to press enter again. Now we're still centered. That's not where we want to do our paper. We do not want our paper to be centered. We want it to be left aligned is what we call it. We go back up here to our alignment tools and we're going to go ahead and press that button, or you can press Shift L, Control Shift L for a short key cut. Now, once we're here, we want to start off our first paragraph. And when we start off our first paragraph, we're going to start off with a hook. But before we even start off with a hook, we want to make sure that we indent. To indent, you can press the spacebar key 5 times, or you can press the tab key once. Did you see it move over? Let me show you again. Here it goes. Ready? There it is. And that's where we'll start. And we'll put our hook first, followed by our thesis statement from your blue paper packet. Then I'm just going to go ahead and read mine. The city of Pompeii, dead or alive? Pompeii was an interesting city because of its rich history, well-known culture, and current-day tourism. Now, this is a spot where you may want to just stop and take a look at your thesis statement. It's always okay to change something from the purple paper packet onto your actual draft. You may want to add in more words because on my actual on your actual paper, you may want to add a few more words in. This is not my original thesis. I actually just put for my thesis that it was interesting because of its history, culture, and tourism. I feel like adding a few more adjectives in there to describe what its history tells it, like it's a rich history, that means it's deep and it's a well-known culture. A lot of people kind of study Pompeii today. And the current day tourism gives just a little bit more information about the direction I'm going with my thesis statement. So if you want to go ahead and do that, you feel free to add in that information now. From here, we're going to start our second paragraph. This is our subtopic 1 paragraph. So look at your purple paper packet and go down to paragraph 1. Okay. Now, do you see where it says topic sentence? That's where you're going to start. I would first advise you just to type all of the information you have for that paragraph together, and then go back and do some re-editing. Maybe add some transition words, and we'll talk about that in a second. But first, how do we get there? Well, you are currently right here where my mouse is. You are going to need to press the enter button and tab again for a new paragraph. There should not be multiple spaces in between each paragraph. Remember, we are moving on from the elementary type papers and we're moving on to more of that high school and college style where we don't get to add any fluff, any fun font, no pictures. All of that stuff is out. You guys are starting to grow up and we are now into the high school and college style papers and we're just kind of practicing that. So we don't want any spaces, no pictures in our paper. Okay, so from here, we're ready to start our first subtopic paragraph. Well, my first one that I talked about in my thesis statement was its rich history. Your first subtopic paragraph should be the first detail that you mention in your thesis statement. Mine is rich history, so that's what my subtopic one will be about. This is where I'm going to begin typing my first subtopic paragraph. I'm going to start with my topic sentence. The city of Pompeii was full of rich history. After you put your period, you are going to need to space one time. There is no space between the last word in the period, just after that period. So I press the space bar one time. Then I'm going to go to my detail 1, my detail 2, and my detail 3, following the same type of format. Sentence, period, space, sentence, period, space, sentence, period, space. Let's go ahead and add my 3 details. First, I'm going to say it was part of the Roman Empire. Then I'm going to add that Pompeii is located at the base of Mount Vesuvius in southern Italy, along with that it was a wealthy port city that attracted rich vacationers who wanted to soak up the sun. Those were the 3 details that I found that really talked about its rich history, what empire it was part of, where it was located, and what their main source of trade was. Now, you will notice my use of pronouns. So, I say it, right? Here's the rule. You say your proper noun, Pompeii, and in the following sentence, you can use a pronoun for whatever you're talking about. So I say Pompeii, then it, then Pompeii, then it. There's some other things that I'll want to add as well, because right now, this paragraph, it's kind of boring. So the first thing I want to do is think about transition sentences, and if I need to add any more details. You can start with 3 details per paragraph, and if you have time, go back and add those other details to make your paper deeper and richer. But first, let's start with transitions. If you didn't know, transitions, let's get up here where you can actually see it. This is a transition cheat sheet that you will be receiving in class today. And there are different types of transitions. It's not just first, then next, last. There are different types of transitions for different types of parts of your paragraph, and one doesn't fit all. So first we have time and sequence. So if you're wanting to talk about in order, in a certain sequential order, you're going to look at this column. Then if you want to give an example or maybe an illustration, look at that column. There's some cause and effect, listing and adding, and then concluding, and to contrast as well, okay? So if you're comparing and contrasting, you might want to start here. When you're at the end of your paragraph, you may want to go over here. So let's look back at my paper. So I'm saying the city of Pompeii is full of rich history. It was part of the Roman Empire. Pompeii is located at the base of Mount Vesuvius in southern Italy. What transition could I start here, right here with? So I'm talking about where it was located. Let's see. For example, it was located, well, I'm not really trying to give an example. Where it was, like now it was located, no, it doesn't really sound good. And contrasting, it was located, nope, I'm not concluding. I'm going to go back and look again. So let's go back to the paper. It was part of the Roman Empire. I think what we'll probably do is add one of the listing or adding. Some of them are kind of generic, but I think that additionally would work well in this paragraph. You may have other thoughts, and like I said, one doesn't fit all. So I'm going to go ahead and add do. Don't forget that period and then a space. And after your transition, you need a comma with another space. So additionally, Pompeii is located at the base of Mount Vesuvius in southern Italy. Now, do I need a transition into it was a wealthy port city? Maybe, maybe not. That's up for you. That's up for you to decide. Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. You just need to make the decision. You really don't want to use too many transitions, but you do want to use enough to make your paper flow smoothly. Once you have your paper completely typed, like I do, you're going to want to go through an editing checklist that I'll go ahead and give you. But first, before you even grab the checklist, make sure that it looks the way that you want it to. First, it should have 5 paragraphs with 5 indentions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now, if you want, you can go ahead and take time to read the rest of my paper and press pause right now so that you can see the conclusion and how I left them with a pondering thought or even something to do with the information that I've given them. And I hope that you enjoyed writing your paper and you found it interesting. We're almost done. Next is the editing process. So once you have your paper to here, just watch the editing video.